In this video, we'll solve the following two quadratic equations by factoring. Let's look at problem A first. We want to make one side equal to 0, so we want to subtract 2 on both sides. So we have 9x squared plus 7x minus 2 equals 0. We want to factor the left side, 9x squared plus 7x minus 2. First, let's check if there's any GCF, greatest common factor. If you look at the three terms over here, there are no common factors. This is how I factor this trinomial. First, you will factor the 9x squared. So first of all, what makes 9? 3 times 3, 1 times 9, right? I will try 3 times 3. Actually, it's 3x times 3x. That will give me a 9x squared. All right. Then I'll factor this 2. What makes 2? There's only one option. 2 is 1 times 2. Okay. Then I'm going to draw a line here and cross multiply. 3x times 2 is 6x. And 3x times 1 is 3x. Somehow I want a 7x in the middle. So that means somehow I need to add or subtract these two numbers and make a 7x. There's no way, right? 3x plus 6x is 9x. 3x minus 6x is negative 3x. That means this combination doesn't work. So let me switch things around. Okay, so I'm not going to factor the 9x squared as 3x times 3x. Let me try 1 times 9. So that means it's x times 9x. Let me try this combination instead. Okay, again, cross multiply. X times 2, that's 2x. And 1 times 9x, that's 9x. Again, somehow I want these two numbers to add up to be a 7x. That means I need to have a negative 2x here, so that 9x plus negative 2x is 7x. So in order to have a negative 2x over here, this 2 needs to be negative, so that x times negative 2 is negative 2x. Let me check over here. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. Okay, this gives me the right combination. So my two factors are the first factor coming from the first line, which is x plus 1, because it's x and positive 1 here. Right. The second factor coming from the second line, which is 9x minus 2. So I will write down the two factors. X plus 1 times 9x minus 2 is how I factor the left side of the equation, equals 0. So using the zero factor theorem, we can write two equations. The first one is x plus 1 equals 0. The other equation is 9x minus 2 equals 0. Solving for each equation, we'll have negative 1 as one of the solutions, and the other solution is 2 over 9. So here we have two solutions. One is negative 1, the other one is 2 over 9. Now let's look at problem B here. Okay, first step, well, we already have 0 on one side, that's great. First step, let's check for GCF, greatest common factor. Okay, between these three terms, 6x squared, negative 22x, and negative 40, there is a GCF, which is 2. They all have a factor of 2, so I'm going to factor it out. All right, so every term inside the parentheses will be divided by 2. So 3x squared minus 11x minus 20 equals 0. Okay, now I'm just going to factor what's inside the parentheses here. Okay, so similar to the previous problem, first I'm going to factor this 3x squared. It's pretty obvious there's only one option, is 3x and x. Right. Now I'm going to factor this 20. There are a lot of combinations to factor 20. It could be 2 times 10, it could be 4 times 5, it could be 1 times 20. That's all the options, right? Okay, I think I will try 4 times 5. I'm not sure. Let's try 4 times 5. Is that it? Okay. If not, just switch things around. Okay, so cross multiply. 3x times 5, that's 15x. And 4 times x, that's 4x. Somehow I want a negative 11x, right? These two numbers will give me a negative 11. So that means that the 15x needs to be negative. So that 4x minus 15x is negative 11x. So trace it back. That means 3x times negative 5 will give me negative 15. And I think that's the right combination. Last step, check over here. 4 times negative 5 is negative 20. That's the right combination. Okay, the two factors I have, the first factor coming from the first row, which is this row over here, which is 3x plus 4. That's the first factor. The second factor coming from the second row, which is x minus 5. So second factor, x minus 5. Don't forget there's a 2 over here, so it's 2 times 3x plus 4 times x minus 5 equals 0. Okay, according to the zero factor theorem, either this 2 is equal to 0 or this 3x plus 4 is equal to 0. Or this x minus 5 is equal to 0. It's pretty obvious that 2 cannot be equal to 0 because 2 is not 0. So we only have to worry about these two equations. Solve for each of these two equations. We'll have x is either negative 4 over 3 or x is equal to 5. So we have two solutions here, negative 4 over 3 and 5. On your own, I want you to solve this equation, and I'm going to review the answer in 3, 2, 1. Okay. To solve this equation, first we want to make one side equal to 0 first. Okay, so what I'm going to do is subtract 24 on both sides. So I have 24x squared plus 14x minus 24 equals 0. So next step, we want to check if there's any greatest common factor. So between 24x squared, 14x, and negative 24, there is a common factor, which is 2. I'm going to factor out that 2. So what's left is 12x squared plus 7x minus 12 equals 0. Now we're going to factor this part. Okay, so factor the 12x squared first. I'll factor it as 3. Let's try 3 times 4. So 3x times 4x. And factor this 12 here. Let's try 3 times 4. 3x times 4, that's 12x. 3 times 4x, 12x. Somehow I need these two terms to add up or subtract to be a 7x, which is impossible, right? So that means this is not the right combination. So let me erase all this and start again. Okay, let me put 4 on top and 3 at the bottom and see if this time it will work. So 3x times 3, that's 9x. 4 times 4x, that's 16x. Again, what I want is a positive 7x. So I think this time it works as long as this 9x is negative. Okay, so 16x minus 9x is 7x. Good, trace it back. That means 3x times negative 3 gave me this negative 9x. And check again over here. 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. Okay, everything is the right combination. So this will be factored as, don't forget this 2. 2 times, okay, first factor is 3x plus 4. Right, coming from the first row. Second factor is 4x minus 3. So here we can come up with two equations. First equation is 3x plus 4 is equal to 0. The other factor is 4x minus 3 equals 0. We got two solutions. One is negative 4 over 3. The other one is positive 3 over 4. I hope you got it correct, and I will see you in the next video.